Greetings. Today we continue our study of the names of God. Today we'll be looking at Genesis chapter 14, verses 11 through 24, considering Jehovah El Elyon. And they, that is the four invading kings of verse 9, took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their victuals and went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against him, he and his servants by night, and smote them and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, technically his nephew, and his good, and the women also and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him at the valley of Shaveh, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. And bless the Most High God, which hath delivered thine enemies into thine hand, and he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, of that which I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. Save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men that which were with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. In Genesis 10:25 and 11:16, we find the reference to a man named Eber. The history of the Hebrew people can be traced from this man Eber. From Eber came the following descendants: Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and then Abram or Abraham. You find this in verse 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, and 26. And it continues in verse 25, Isaac, Jacob and Israel in verse 26, and Judah, from which we get the term Jew today, in Genesis 29 and verse 35. And as we progress in the history of all Hebrew people, one branch or subset of them also became known as Israelites. Further, the latter remnant of this branch has commonly become to be referenced as the Jews, or the New Testament always uses an adjective, the Jewish ones. After the death of Solomon, the United Kingdom was divided. Ultimately, the virtual destruction of the 10 northern tribes known as Israel occurred, as well as the captivity of the 2 southern tribes known as Judah, which led to this term Jew. The term Jew is simply a corruption of the name Judah, which is now understood to include all the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I point this out because this information is important, because our text occurs before any of these designations, Israelites and Jews, had come into existence. In Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 through 10, there is a reference and comments upon this event, which is recorded in our text verses of Genesis 14, 11 through 24, and concerning this name, Jehovah El Elyon.